It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can email me as well, randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. The one stressful part of my day, well, there's actually two stressful parts of my day, but they both involve the same exact thing. It is driving on the 405 freeway to and from 790 KABC in Culver City. Other than that, I don't have a very stressful life. I am very blessed. I've got a wonderful wife. I've got some great animals. I have lots of free time to enjoy myself, whether it's exercising or playing video games or watching garbage reality TV with my wife, making a cocktail, cooking. I got it made. However, those 2+ hours a day where I am sitting in the car can be real rough on the old psyche. And ever since we added this show, the News Blitz with Randy Wang at 5 o'clock, and I started doing it from home, there's been an extra little level of tension whenever I'm leaving Culver City to head to the Valley. Because I know I am now on a ticking clock, and 2 hours should be totally fine to be able to do this show, to be able to come home, have lunch, do a little prep. If I got a little extra time, hop on the treadmill, hop on the Peloton. I do love it when I've got just an extra 20 minutes and get just a little more exercise in, because it's calming for me. It's good for my mental health. Even though obviously I exercise to lose weight, I really try to do it every day because I know I sleep better and my thoughts are clearer. So all that is good. Today, though, was one of those days where I get out of the station right at 3:05. Takes a couple minutes to post the 2 o'clock hour podcast of the John Phillips Show, which you can get at kabc.com. I get onto the 10, and as soon as I get onto the 405 freeway, going north to the San Fernando Valley, I've got my Apple CarPlay open, and I've got my Apple Maps GPS, which I don't really know why I keep it on there. But I'm curious. I'd like to see how bad it is. What I like to do is type in my destination, see what it says my ETA is, then I let my wife know in case we have some plan for lunch or whatever. I'll be home at about 4:13. And in fact, when I originally had my first ETA, it was 4:13. But then I noticed the freeway was starting to get exceptionally slow. And I was very confused because Topanga Canyon's open now. That was the thing that was making this freeway so hellish, wasn't it? That was all the traffic that couldn't go under Topanga Canyon had to be diverted all the way to the 405. Bless you if you live in that part of town. That's had to have been a nightmare the last 3 months. But Topanga Canyon opened on Sunday, so the freeways were supposed to be a little lighter. And yesterday, they were just a little lighter. But something happened that seems to happen about every 6 weeks. And it seems to always happen during one of my commuting hours. My commuting hours are 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And I wasn't sure it was going to be this because typically when you see a big slowdown, you assume, okay, somebody was being impatient, tailgating too much, and got into a car accident. Or somebody was being incredibly rude and wasn't signaling when they were merging to get into the left lane because that lane was just going a mile faster and they got into a car accident. But on my GPS, there were no car accidents. It didn't show any road closures. The street sweeper people, they come out at 10 o'clock, but they almost never come out at 3 o'clock. And then a sense of dread started to set into my chest as I realized the cars are going slower. We're now going 2 miles an hour. My GPS is telling me, try to get off at Wilshire, which I don't know how I'm going to do that because I'm not even at Santa Monica yet, and the freeway is completely stopped. And then I realized what was happening. I didn't even know. I hadn't even read in the news that day, but I knew in my heart. Once again, my commute was being affected by the selfish choices of our Vice President, Kamala Harris.
We are clear and have been clear.
And what do I mean by selfish? I mean that ever since she was elected to be the Vice President of these United States, she tends to come home to Los Angeles quite often, many times a year. And when she comes home to Los Angeles, she stays at her home in Brentwood. Whenever she goes in and out of Brentwood, the Secret Service, understandably, has to clear a whole lot of traffic. And what they do is they shut down the entire 405 freeway in both directions, and they do it multiple times a day anytime she's here. To add insult to injury, most of the time when the vice president is here, it's not for official business. It's to do an interview. It's to be on a talk show. It's to be at a fundraiser, or she's overnighting here before she goes on an international trip. And I have been affected by a 405 closure from the vice president so many times I lost count. Well, 6 weeks ago, I got stuck on the freeway and got to a point where I panicked and had to call my program director. Hey, I don't know if I'm going to get there by 5 o'clock. I don't know what we do. Do I do the show on the phone? Do I just not have anybody here? I actually have an emergency show ready to go just in case something like that happens, or my internet goes down, or there's some kind of emergency. But 6 weeks ago, the problem was the vice president was in town to go do the Drew Barrymore show. And Kamala did Drew Barrymore, and Kamala shut down traffic and screwed up the commutes for so many people. I don't know why Drew Barrymore couldn't have done it at her house or anywhere else, or I don't know, on Zoom or a satellite feed, but no. It seems that there is no consideration for the millions of commuters that get screwed over by these motorcades. Today is another one of those days, and today is going to be one of the worst ones because VP's in town once again, not for official business, not meeting with elected members of the city council, not meeting with the mayor. No. The vice president, Kamala Harris, is in town to do Kimmel. So right now, as we're speaking, there has been a motorcade going all the way from Brentwood to Hollywood, screwing up traffic for several parts of the city during the most important times of day so the VP can yuck it up with Jimmy Kimmel. And you know what? I got no problem with Jimmy Kimmel wanting to interview the vice president. That's what people do. I've seen it happen. It's going to be show content that I can use for Johnny tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. But Jimmy, you've lived in Los Angeles a very, 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 very long time. You know how awful traffic is. Couldn't you have done the interview on remote location, done it over Zoom, done something else? Maybe when we have the VP in town or Biden in town, and again, it's not for official business, it's for money or talk shows, maybe we set up a talk show studio inside that abandoned alien UFO restaurant at LAX, and she's got to stay there the whole time and stop screwing up my commute, because I sat there minute after minute after minute. And what's funny is, again, I've got CarPlay open, and because of the security protocols, it's not like this is something that gets reported to SigAlert. So you don't even know what's going on. The traffic reporters, when you're listening to traffic reports on KABC or KNX or KFI, they don't know what's actually going on. Some of them do. My friend Angel over at KFI, she knows what's going on. But a lot of them don't report it because it doesn't show up on the traditional traffic apps because there's security protocols. They don't want you knowing exactly where the motorcade is. That is a threat to security. I understand that. But I'm sitting there, and the GPS doesn't know what's going on. It wants me to get off at Wilshire, and it now says I'm going to get home at 5:20, 5:40, 4:45. It keeps changing every minute, so I don't know what to believe anymore. So here I am at 3:45. I have moved maybe a half a mile in the last 30 minutes, and that's when I have to start making the phone call. Hey, just to let you know, I'm in Kamala hell right now. I don't know if I'll be in the valley by 5 o'clock. Things eventually did open up, but I still feel like a part of my soul got sucked away from me. The anger that so many people felt on that freeway, it's just, it doesn't have to be this way. There's got to be a smarter way to do this, a better way to do this, and we got to think of something else. Or how about take a helicopter, clear the airspace? Why does the motorcade have to go from Brentwood to Hollywood, screwing up not just my commute, everybody on the 405, and depending on what route they took, did they go up the 405 through the 101 to get to Hollywood that way? Are they cutting through on Sunset, going through Beverly Hills? There's no good way to get there without screwing up traffic for so many people for a 10-minute talk show appearance. Okay. I got that out of my system. But there's one other thing I'd like to discuss, because as I'm sitting there crawling along, it's finally opening up, and even the opening up is barely moving. It's the most frustrating thing. Even when you're at a completely stopped freeway for an accident or a motorcade or whatsoever, you assume once that clears, you're going to be zooming 60 miles an hour on the freeway, something nobody has ever done before. And you go quickly for about a minute, and then there's another slowdown. Who knows why? It's just our traffic system is so poorly managed, and any incident like this just throws a complete wrench into all of it. There's got to be a helipad at Hollywood and Highland. Take a helicopter, Kamala. Stop screwing up my freeway. But as I said, another thing that I noticed was I have on my CarPlay Apple Maps. A while ago, I decided I liked Apple Maps better than Google Maps. I'm not totally sure why. I've gone back and forth with them both, but I use Apple Maps. But I never trust Apple Maps, just like I never trust Google Maps, because you know what these apps kept telling me the whole time? Don't stay on the freeway. Get off at Wilshire. And you know, you're at that part of the 405 freeway in between Wilshire and Sunset where you can clearly see Sepulveda Boulevard, the thoroughfare that goes right alongside the freeway through the Sepulveda Pass. And you see that military cemetery that's out there. And as I'm starting to move, as I'm starting to finally inch along and get somewhere on the 405 freeway, and Apple keeps telling me, you got to get off at Wilshire. You got to get off at Wilshire. What do I see? Completely stopped traffic on Sepulveda because so many people took the app up on its offer. And I know if I would have done what it told me to do, I wouldn't have gotten home at 4:20. I would have gotten home at 4:30 or 4:40. Because every time, I would say almost every single time, I get offered a detour from my GPS app, I know it's wrong, and I know it's full of crap. And I don't trust it anymore. I know my way to go. I don't deviate. It's gonna suck, but every other way sucks too. For instance, when I go into work every single day, I get on the 101 at Havenhurst, take that to the 405. There are multiple ways to go because I'm in a part of town where the 101 is as close to me as the 405. So I can take either to get to the hellish Sepulveda Pass. But my phone loves to suggest to me all these other ways that are terrible. There are a lot of things the GPS doesn't take into consideration, like I don't want to get on at the Victory on ramp because then you have to go through that Haskell homeless encampment RV thing that's a little scary. And at least from my experience, as bad as it is crawling along the 101 to get on the 405, if you're on the 405 proper before you get to Burbank Boulevard, before you get to the 101, that's always slower. That's always worst, at least in my opinion. But at least if you're on a freeway, you're crawling, but you know eventually it's going to open up. Maybe by the time you get to Sunset. But no, what does my phone do? To potentially save me 1 minute, 2 minutes, it says, you know what you should do? Forget the freeway. You should take Havenhurst all the way up to Mulholland, crawl along the canyons, piss off all the people living in the Encino Hills, and get on the freeway at Skirball. And every maybe 6 months, I break down and I take them up on it. And it is always a huge mistake. It doesn't save me any time. These apps never account for the fact that lights turn red, unlike a freeway, which theoretically goes all the way. And I end up spending way more time on the road than if I would have just sat there and took it and gone my regular route. I know what works for me. So other than just an estimation of my ETA, I do not trust Apple Maps that they know a better way for me to get home. I don't trust Google Maps that they know a better way for me to get home. I don't think they do. I think the way that the algorithms create these routes, they think to save you a minute, they want you to go the most inconvenient way possible. There's nothing more irritating than constantly getting off and on the freeway. At least if you're on the freeway, you know what you're into. You can sit down, listen to your talk radio, call your friends, your family, and you can at least just deal with it. Having to actively go around, and something else that I've realized, when you take those shortcuts, when it says, hey, get off at Sepulveda, just take Sepulveda, now you are driving next to the most impatient drivers on the road. The people that are either late for work or they're pissed off because now they're screwed. Anyway, I had to get all that off my chest. I'd love to hear from you if Kamala screwed up your commute today. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. What do you think we do about this? Should she sell her home in Brentwood? Should she start taking a helicopter when she's got to go do the Drew Barrymore show? Or maybe the talk show hosts have to go to her house. Can we stop screwing up everyone's commutes for a talk show appearance? 800-222-KABC. As an aside, if you don't trust your GPS anymore, I'd love to hear why. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It has become that time every couple of months where we need to vent about how terrible traffic is on the freeways of Los Angeles. Although this time, it's not because of all the bad drivers. It's because of one vice president and a motorcade that doesn't care about your commute. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The vice president screwed up my commute today because Kamala had to do Kimmel. If she screwed up your commute, I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to know, and as an aside, do you trust your GPS at all? Because I don't. I don't think Apple Maps or Google Maps know what they're talking about when they've got shortcuts for me. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Chuck in Temple City. Chuck, hello.
Hello. Hey, I totally agree with you about the Google Maps shortcuts. I don't even remember where I was. I was somewhere probably in your neighborhood trying to get back to San Gabriel Valley, and it had me go in and out of every terrible neighborhood and inside everybody's driveway and just around a dumpster and through all this junk just to save 20 seconds. And I said the same thing you said to my wife, which is, yeah, the highway's slow, but at least you know you're going somewhere, rather than I really don't want to tour every low-class portion of Los Angeles.
Yeah, it does not save you nearly the time that it thinks it does. And sometimes it can be a little frightening out there. Chuck, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. More of your calls coming up next on the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC. KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well, randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. My commute got screwed up today by the vice president who came into town to do Kimmel. If Kamala screwed up your commute today, I'd love to hear from you. And as an aside, if you don't trust your GPS anymore like I do, I'd love to hear why. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with John in Orange. John, hello.
Hey, Randy, thanks a lot. Back when Obama came out for the UCI graduation, it was about 10 years ago or so, he actually took the helicopter to the site. So it must just be an LA thing that they don't let them fly and want to just really mess up your commute.
Yeah, either there's got to be some kind of rule with the airspace restriction, or they just don't care that they are inconveniencing the traffic in one of the busiest car cities in the world.
I think they just don't care. And I'll tell you on the GPS, mine, two things mine loves to do. Mine thinks that the off-ramp and on-ramp is faster. So if there's a straight off, straight on, it'll tell me, take that off, get back, right back on the way you were going. The other thing it'll do when I go up into the valley from down here is it'll tell me to take the 101 instead of the 5, and I have learned that it is just trying to kill me.
Yeah, it's full of crap, I'll tell you that. John, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. I think we're onto something here. I think we have a lot of experience driving these terrible freeways. These computers don't know what they're talking about. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Randy in Oxnard. Randy, hello.
Hey, Randy. Yeah, I'm a veteran driver of the LA freeways because I come in from Oxnard into the Valley or LA most days of my life. And I'm also a professional singer, so I remember Biden was in Beverly Hills for a huge fundraiser in December, and they locked it down so bad that it took me 3.5 hours from my place to Beverly Hills just to get, to an address I could normally drive in about 45.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And it comes up with the most inane shortcuts because, as you say, it doesn't account for things like red lights or you're taking a left turn, and so you can't just pull up to the intersection and cut everybody off. You have to wait. So it's kind of retarded.
Well, you know what the other thing is, Randy, is whenever it puts one of these shortcuts to your phone, it's doing it the same thing to every car around you. And so many people take them up on the shortcut. Now that route is clogged too.
Exactly. Now they've ruined it, and all those people are driving like it's the Indy 500 because they're the road rage clients already. So it's really so counterproductive. And by the way, most of the road closures for politicians, sadly, are the progressive Democrats because they come out and get lots of money from the Hollywood elite. So I hate to say it, but it's just another one of those bad side effects of having liberal politicians. Sorry.
There you go. Randy, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Dale in Culver City. Dale, hello.
Hey, Randy, good to talk to you again. I totally agree with you. I live in North Torrance, and I work about 100 yards from your studio in Culver City. I take the 405, I get in the fast lane, I stay in the fast lane the whole time. My GPS keeps telling me, take La Cienega. Well, in La Cienega, you might just get your catalytic converter stolen out of your car while you're at a stoplight. Also, people will pull up in the left turn lane. I'll be at a red light, 2 lanes at the red light or 3 lanes at the red light. They'll pull up in the left turn lane, and when the light turns green, they'll just go through or if it hasn't even turned green yet, they'll go through the red light and then back into traffic. It's crazy driving on the side streets around here. Crazy.
Oh, I got to tell you, in Culver City, almost on a daily basis, ever since they screwed up Washington Boulevard with the bus-only lane, there are so many people that as soon as the light turns red, they decide that they're going to go left from Robertson onto Washington, and they block the intersection. So now I cannot cross the street to get out of the radio station.
Every intersection all the way up Culver Boulevard is like that. And they said they were going to get rid of that. And then all of a sudden, I guess a couple of bicyclists went to a city council meeting and said no, and they said okay. So I don't know, but I'm totally with you on just stay on the freeway, get in your lane, stay in your lane till you get to your off-ramp, and get off.
That's the way to do it, Dale. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. I feel so blessed to know that everyone understands the suffering that I'm going through, and that yes, we know better. These GPSs do not know what they're talking about with all these shortcuts. There is no good way to get around town. At least if you stick to one lane, you're not bobbing and weaving on the freeway. At least you can sit there, turn up the radio, and enjoy yourself. To calm down, I switched to Sirius, and I listen to the Conan O'Brien channel because I love the Conan O'Brien podcast. That just relaxes me. Because I try not to listen to anything that's similar to what we do because I don't want to, subconsciously take anybody's ideas. So I feel like that's a good lane for me. Let's go to Martin in Winnetka. Martin, hello. Martin going
What's
what?
up there, Randy?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, good. I love your show. I listen to it every day on my way home. Today I had to listen to you longer, you and John. But anyway, I feel the same way as you. I don't know why we sit there for 45 minutes. Why can't they take a helicopter?
Yeah, there's got to be a more convenient way to do this that's not going to screw over a million people as they're trying to drive home.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But I'll tell you what, another thing that you should watch, too, is while I'm sitting in traffic, is all these people with registrations that are outdated on their car. How much money can the city make from that?
That's true. Martin, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. If Kamala Harris screwed up your commute today, I'd love to hear from you. And as an aside, I think we got a lot of people agreeing with my theory that Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, they don't know what they're talking about. And by the way, I did get an email here from Susan who says, you got to try Waze. I swear by it. Didn't Google buy Waze? And so isn't Waze also Google? Maybe I'm wrong about that. 800-222-KABC. I don't trust my GPS. It does not know a faster way to get through the hellish Sepulveda Pass. And I have tried every way there is. There is no good way. 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. The vice president screwed up a million people's commutes today. Give or take 100,000 or two, because she had to do Kimmel, which means I got hot sound for tomorrow's show on the John Phillips show, but it also means that I had to white knuckle it on the 405 freeway. And the whole time my phone kept telling me, hey, get off at Wilshire, Sepulveda's faster. And no, it is not. It never is. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Bill in La Cañada. Bill, hello.
Hi, Randy. I'd like to hear Willie Brown's response to my solution for Kamala's annoying intrusions. This problem will disappear.
Hold on, Bill. Bill, hold on. Adam, Get your finger on the dump button.
Oh, no, it's not like that. This problem will disappear in a week. This problem will disappear in a week if Kamala starts taking the MTA.
Well, there you go. You know what? That would be a really great thing to do to show how safe it is out there and how convenient it is, except there is no convenient way to get from LAX to Hollywood and Highland on the MTA, and that's without all the stabbings.
And where's Willie in this?
Well, I don't think I have. You know what? I do have the Willie drop. Hold on. Let me find Willie for you. You want Willie?
I need my Willie.
You want Willie Brown? I don't have all the drops ready to go all the time, but I bet you I have Willie on here somewhere. Where is Willie Brown? Here he is, just for you. Willie, what do you think of that? Bill, thanks so much for the call.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It was almost like a Take Me Out Willie Brown style. Dave in Whittier. Dave, hello.
Yeah, 1 second here. Yeah, I've got two takes on this and what to do about this. For one, hey, candidates, for when she's running for governor, when she's out, which John revealed, hey, I say use a campaign piece. Show it how Democrats don't care. I mean, to me, this is the utter thoughtlessness. And Jimmy Kimmel, hold him to account for that. Hold these people account for that. Change. I got an answer for the Google stuff, okay? Hey, you guys don't want all this traffic coming through your neighborhood because of the Google Maps directing them to your neighborhood, making more traffic. Hey, Ask your city council to change the name of your street.
Change the name of your state.
Street. As it's a problem.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's happening that is happening in Whittier. Oh, it is. So because of your call, it spurred me a little solution here. Change some names in the, if your street is having that problem, go to your city council and public comments and ask for a name change just to throw them off because, that is a problem. That's another problem from what you're talking about. It's not just it's directing you to places where you don't want to go. It's also neighborhoods are having a problem because of this.
No, you're totally right, Dave. There are so many neighborhoods where you're supposed to have people walking their dogs, kids playing, and people are cutting through because the main thoroughfares are clogged. And Google says, no, take this side street that was not intended for this traffic. You're totally right about that.
Yeah, hey, I want to give you a
that might be a
example on this. Can I give you an example that I personally experienced? It's really out there, but it's true. 1994, during the OJ trial, the street name of Nicole Street was Gretna
Rockingham.
Green. I went down. Well, it was OJ's or hers, one or the other, or Ron's. But I went there to check it out. They changed the street name from Gretna Green to Gretna, Gretha. I believe to throw people off, to throw that traffic off that they would get from looking those.
Yeah, you make a great point. That is definitely an interesting solution if you've got a bunch of cut-through traffic screwing up your neighborhood. Dave, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Hey, how about this? I got a great prize for you, and it's a band that I love. 790 KABC welcomes Megadeth, the Destroy All Enemies tour at the YouTube Theater on August 15th. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com right now. Call in number 9 at 1-888-790-5222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. My favorite Megadeth song, Angry Again. I used to use that as bumper music for so many radio shows going back, 16, 17 years now? Love Megadeth. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Dale in Long Beach. Dale, hello.
Hey, Randy, I hate to tell you this, but it's going to get worse. Wait till they start charging for traffic congestion.
Oh, they keep talking about that, and they keep threatening it, and I think there's going to be a pilot pretty soon about that, where they want to charge you either a per-mile fee or a specific tax to get in and out of downtown L.A. That's going to be an absolute nightmare. And I'm also a little concerned for what it's going to be like when they finally add the express lanes to the Sepulveda Pass the same way they did in Orange County, because I'll tell you, I can afford to pay through the nose to sit in those express lanes, but that's going to screw up traffic for so many other people.
Yeah, one of our state senators voted against it a while back because he said the constituents couldn't afford it. He finally was speaking the truth. I was looking at my computer in New York, Boston, San Francisco. Pretty soon it's going to cost $15 just to go into Manhattan.
That is ridiculous. Dale, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Before I get out of here, I wanted to give you a little update on something we talked about last week. So last week, I told you that I got the bombshell letter that my homeowner's insurance wasn't being canceled. My homeowner's insurance wasn't canceled, but my premium went up 50% year over year. And we listened to that video from KCAL about some of the tips you can go through to try to lower your rate, because we're in this weird situation where people are scared to death to even use their policy if they have a problem because they know they'll get dropped. And, if you own your home outright, you don't have to have insurance. But if you have a mortgage like I do, you do have to have homeowner's insurance. Well, I looked at my policy and I got on the phone today with my insurance broker, and I was able to lower my premiums by $600 a year, simply by increasing my deductible from $2,000 to $10,000. And considering how scared I would ever be to use this policy, even if something happened, and something I didn't know, my broker said, the deductible doesn't come out of pocket for a homeowner's insurance claim. It comes out of your payout. So I did the math, and I think this is going to work better for me. and now I could swallow that premium payment just a little better. So something to think about if your premiums are getting out of control. Check what your deductibles are. But thank you all so much for participating in this show, being a part of it, suffering on the freeway with me. I'm so happy to be here every day doing my part to entertain you. This is a dream come true. You can always email us at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the podcast of this show. I'd love to get those numbers up so I can brag to everybody back here. Go to kabc.com, click on podcast. That's one way to find the News Blitz. You can also go on the Apple Podcasts app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for the News Blitz with Randy Wang. You'll find it. Search for Randy Wang. You'll find it. Hopefully you find some of my other old podcasts. Those are all gone, right? Thank you all so much for listening, everybody. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.